What's up guys? Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up your Sony FX3 to shoot a time lapse in body without an intervalometer with minimal setup. You guys ready? Let's go. The Sony FX3 can shoot a high quality time lapse in body, and we're going to use the technology within the camera to stitch all of the images together and do the heavy lifting for us. So first things first, let's get some of the preliminary stuff out of the way. So what is a time lapse? A time lapse is a technique used by filmmakers to show the passage of time by capturing movement that's normally too slow for the human eye to see. So one of the very first things we need to do is we need to mount the camera on a tripod. It cannot move while we're shooting a time lapse. So mount your camera on a tripod or put it on something sturdy where it cannot be moved. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the setup. The steps we're going to focus on right now are going to be focus, composition, and exposure. Grab your camera, hit the mode button, use the scroll wheel to select movie mode. Set the lens switch to manual focus physically or within the software in the camera. To do it in the camera, select the menu button, scroll to the purple icon for autofocus manual focus, select focus mode, manual focus, and hit enter. Now we need to frame our subject using grid lines. The Sony FX3 offers a couple tools you can use to obtain focus. You can use focus peaking or focus magnifier. Both will help you obtain focus. Set your ISO to 800 or 12,800. The Sony FX3 offers dual base or dual gain ISOs. Use the one that will help you set the correct exposure. After you set your ISO, you can use an ND filter to get the correct exposure, or you can fiddle around with the Aperture to get the correct exposure. After the exposure's been set, make sure and set your white balance for the scene. Now we need to configure the image quality and log settings. Hit the mode button, select S and Q, and hit enter. After selecting S and Q, hit the menu button, go to shooting, image quality, record, log shooting settings. We want to verify these three settings are set. For log shooting, select Cine EI. For color gamut, select S Gamut 3, Cine S Log 3. And this one may not matter, but make sure embed LUT file equals on. Go ahead and hit the menu button once to back out. From the red shooting menu, select Image, Quality, Record, File Format, and select XAVC S 4K and hit enter. Since we're in the image quality settings, go ahead and select S and Q settings. There are three sections you need to change. Image quality, record, S and Q settings. Record frame rate should be set to 24p. Hit enter. 24p is the playback of the timeline, not the frames being captured. Go down once for frame rate. The frame rate that we want to choose is 1 FPS. When you hit enter on 1 FPS, you'll notice at the bottom for S&Q settings, it says X24 quick action. 1 FPS will give you a little motion blur, which is desired. Once the frame rate has been set, select record settings. Select 100M 422 10-bit. 200M is the bit rate. I don't know all the super technical stuff about it, but the higher the bit rate, the higher the quality. So go ahead and select 100M 422 10-bit, hit enter, and back all the way out through the menu. We're almost done. Also double check your exposure and make any necessary adjustments you need to make sure you properly expose S-Log 3. I typically overexpose by 1.3 or 1.7, and it seems to work really well for me when it comes to color grading. All right, guys, thanks for taking a second to hang out with me in my little YouTube cubbyhole. Now, if you guys are really having a good time with the FX3, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if this video provided any value, it would help the channel tremendously if you like the content and subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when I create new content. So in summary, the Sony FX3 can shoot amazing time lapses in body without having to monkey around and fiddle with a bunch of third-party software. And only after a few minutes of configuring your camera, you're ready to go. And with that being said, I really appreciate you guys for hanging out with me for a couple minutes, and I'll catch everyone at the next video.